Good morning, my artsy friends. Welcome to our regularly scheduled Monday morning live. My name is Ken Johnson. You are Thrifty Apprentice, and we are going to be doing some things today. Yeah, I always have quite a few things that I want to go over with you guys, so I'll just jump right in. We're going to start off with talking about this Wednesday's pre-recorded video release coming up. We are going to be circling back around to Roman Smalls paints. We'll go over the collection that I have in that video. We'll kind of do an overview. It's not really a review of the paints, but like an overview of both paint sets that I've got that I've had the chance to obtain. We'll kind of talk through the different pros and cons I may have run across with the paints. We're going to be looking at this particular sketchbook. I'm sure most of you may remember when it originally came into the studio. We have worked in it some. We worked in it some doing, I want to say, Inktober maybe. Um, I've done a few other illustrations in it that we will kind of discuss in Wednesday's video coming up. But the main thing about this Wednesday's video coming up is that it will be the kickoff of the first giveaway of 2025, where I will be, thanks to DACA, which of course is Defiant Arts Creation Association, we will be giving away a mixing set of Roman Schmal paints, and we will be giving away one of the Bendy sketchbooks. And like I said, in that particular video, I'll go into more detail about both items, and I'll announce all of the logistics for how to enter the giveaway, how long it'll be, and all those good things. But there are just two of the illustrations that I've painted recently with the Roman Smalls in this particular book, preparing for this, in this particular sketchbook, preparing for this. Preparing for this video that's coming out this Wednesday. So this is what you can kind of look forward to, kind of diving into Roman Smalls, taking a look at the paints, and definitely being a part of the giveaway for the 6 color mixing set, as well as the Bendy Decide watercolor sketchbook. And as I said, we'll talk about all of that in that video. So, hello, curious. Um, that will be coming up. We will also eventually be rolling around to a review of the Arta watercolors. Now, I know you guys remember us painting with these. We did an unboxing and a swatching on camera. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but if you guys remember, we did this on camera live together once we opened those paints. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Amy. I really, really appreciate that. For the super chat. That is so amazing. Thank you so much. Um, wow. What a way to start off a wonderful Monday morning. But here is the illustration that we painted when we initially unboxed these. Now, I have been doing some work with them behind the scenes, um, just kind of preparing for the review coming up for them. And I'm not sure if we're going to do this review live, which probably we will. Um, that way I can save the pre-recorded video for another idea that I have. But I have still been kind of playing around on that Art Beat 100% cotton paper with a kind of funny size. It's almost like 4 by 10 almost. And well, no, this is not it. I was trying to find the other illustration that I've already done with the art of paints, but I can't seem to put my hands on it at this very second, which is typical. Patreon. Tonight we will be diving back into finishing um, our illustration that we started last week, where we unboxed and started playing around with the Faber-Castell Average watercolor pencils. Now, I've been pretty excited about these pencils and the things that I may be able to accomplish with them, simply because they are a really high professional quality pencil. Here's the illustration that we started with those. We will be continuing and finishing this illustration inside the creation station on Patreon tonight. Just in case you guys wanted to join us, I did kind of want to stick this out in the ether so that it could be seen, so you can see what we're working on. And we will be finishing that up with this set of pencils tonight over in Patreon. So join us, join us, join us, join us. Video description will contain the link for Patreon once the live is said and done. We are going to also have a comparison video coming out this month. I got to figure out what date I'm going to work it in. But as you know, we just finished the review not too long ago on the Schmincke Academy watercolors. Well, I kind of got to thinking when I was reviewing that it would be really great to sort of have a review video or a comparison video out there on the different legacy brand student grade paints, not budget paints or not budget brands, but the legacy brands, the brands that have been a staple in the art community for decades. So, of course, there was the Schmincke Academy. I pulled the Magello Mission Silver class paints to include in that comparison. The comparison will also have Winsor and Newton Cockman in it. It will have Lucas Studio Aquarelle in it. It will have De La Roni Aquafine in it. And it will also have, well, and although this is not a legacy brand, I haven't really decided whether or not this one is going to make the video just yet, um, because it's not a legacy brand. But I did pull the Month Mark premium watercolor set. Still on the fence about that one, but I definitely know that these five will be in the comparison video because they're all legacy brands. Um, mm, and I don't think I have any more legacy brand versus just a regular budget grade or student grade paints that may have come out over the last couple of years. So you can stay tuned and look for that video coming up in March as well. So, for the year of 2025, we have a couple of different series going on. One of them is using as many sketchbooks in 2025 as we can. And another one is the Grabie watercolor calendar. So, for the first couple of months of 2025, we have been doing illustrations for each month of the Grabie calendar. So, what we've done so far, we've done January, where we did January's birth flower, carnation. I can't remember. Did we do that with watercolor pencils? Maybe we did. Maybe it was paints. I can't really remember. Then there was a month of February where we did a little winter, just a little quick silhouetted winter landscape, something that was really easy and quick to do, still representing winter because it's February. I have noticed that there's a bit of a shift. There was a shift with those paints. There was a shift with this, whatever I used here as well. So I'm thinking it's the paper, this particular watercolor paper that this is printed on. The one thing I was never able to discover is whether it was cotton. I think cotton. They say it's cotton. I'll have to look up the description for it again. So today we are going to be tackling March, which I've already taped down. And I didn't really plan it out, so more than likely we're going to be doing a landscape in order to pull off March. Let me see, March brings in, well, April showers, spring May flowers. When does spring start? Should we do a little spring landscape? Maybe we'll do a little seascape for March. So, what are we going to be painting today? I honestly, I do not even have a reference photo, friends. Let me get a reference photo pulled up really quickly. I'm just gonna run over to Unsplash on my tablet here. and go into the search engine and type in beach landscape. Let's do something a little beachy today. I'm just going to scroll through really quickly and find an image that we can tackle. Okay, here's one. Pretty tropical and straightforward. Oh, it's a lot of palm trees. uh, when was the last time we painted a palm tree? Was it recent? I don't want to paint something we've done too recently. Um, excuse me. Okay, I have two or three pictures here. We'll put something together real quick. All right, I'm just going to jump right in. And I'm grabbing a ruler as well as a HB pencil. And I'm going to start off with sketching in, um, I don't know, just like halfway through the paper, just above half of the paper, I guess, just above the halfway point of the painting area anyway. I'm going to make a light line. Let's see here. What do we want? We want some, like I said, I'm kind of pulling this from two or three pictures, so I'm doing this on the fly. Um, we want some water here, for a little beachy something. Let's, I mean, just a little. Okay, that'll work. We're going to end up doing a palm tree. I see it coming. Um, maybe we can do. Let's do. I don't know. Maybe it's a mountain in the background of our water. We're really just making some stuff up here. That way, and we'll just have it come down off half of the paper. We can push it back, and then off of this half, we'll actually have maybe some trees come down, you know, through here this way. Maybe it'll actually come down into the water a little bit. That'll be interesting. Uh, do I want to do that like that? Why not? Let's see how it comes out. I'm going to take out the horizon line and that part of the mountain. Erase just a little bit. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do. Just those few little lines. I'm going to grab the Roman small paints I've been testing since I have it right here. Excuse me. And let me grab, where's my swatch book? Here we go. So I know what colors I'm working with because I have not made a swatching sheet for the 10 yet. Okay, let's see here. Y'all doing okay? All right. I'm starting off with, so I've been painting with this Master's Touch 3/8 dagger striker lately. It's a golden tack-on brush. I like a lot of different angle brushes. They can serve as a flat and a round all at the same time, which is why I tend to like them. So this set has three blues in it. There's a phthalo blue, an ultramarine blue, and an ultramarine light. I'm going for the ultramarine light. You use whatever paints you see fit. And if you don't have the colors I have, then just make sure you choose what you have that's closest to it. I'm going to wet the sky here. Just gonna wet the sky area. Hopefully this is gonna turn out right. Ooh, y'all know how I go when I don't have much of a plan. We are just painting. I'm gonna grab that ultramarine and we're gonna start in with some sky. Keep my skies pretty simple. Excuse me. And I'm gonna clean that brush and just bring that on down to, I think I want a little bit more color across the top here. So whenever I add color to my sky, I always add it at the top and then just work down. And I'll grab some regular ultramarine straight from the pan, and I'm gonna take that in across the very top, just so I get some, your sky's gonna always be darker towards the top, and you can bring down some little wispies into that. But again, I'm trying to keep my sky pretty light, not doing too much with it. Skies do not have to be complicated. And we're going to leave that just like that. We're going to jump down to the water section. And I'm going to wet my paper. The last couple of paintings I've done with this, I've worked in some of this, what is this? Quin magenta. So I'm going to work in some of that into the sky. Just a few wisps here and there, right above that mountain and that tree line. I think that's cute. And then back to our water section, starting with the light ultramarine. Uh, we're going to go around a little area where we're going to have those trees. Keeping my strokes horizontal, although I'm using more of a dagger brush. Okay. Did leave some white area in there. You don't have to. You can always go back in, add it with like a white gel pen, white gouache. Just keep in mind that, um, the white of your paper is normally the best thing to use. I'm going to grab some full strength ultramarine. I'll start it right back at that mountain line. Um, and then I'm going to work in some darker areas into this water here. I'm going to move quickly. I need this to stay wet for me so that I can streak in some of the magenta. And we're not going for a masterpiece here. Of course, you guys know that the watercolor calendar paintings are just sketches, kind of help get your juices going. And I'm just working in some of that magenta. And I like how it doesn't necessarily do too much mixing. I mean, it's allowing me to place the color down with the other one. If I want it to blend, I can get it to blend, but I love how the colors are staying separate and you can see the slight hints of the magenta in the sky as well as in the water. And that's pretty much what we're going to do for right now. We need to let that dry. So I do have my hair dryer or heating tool, whichever you may have ready, so that we don't have to waste a lot of time and it's live. And of course, for the replay, I will edit out the parts where I use the hair dryer. And at this point, I am going to actually switch over to um, a smaller brush with a smaller head on it. I think I'm going to go for an angled brush. This is a Royal and Lang Nickel Menta. It's a 1/4 golden Teclon angle brush. I like Royal and Lang Nickel all media brushes. I really, really do. Okay, so what I want to do here is make up a color for my little mountain in the back. We want to keep it pushed back. We are using ultramarine blue, so I'm actually going to grab ultramarine light here. And with small bristle, especially brushes like Golden Teclon, keep in mind it's going to allow you to grab more paint. than water. It's a great way to control your paint water ratio, especially when you don't want your paint mixture to be too watery. So I always keep those type of little tips in mind. I'm going to grab, now we have a Quinn burnt sienna. Do I want to use burnt sienna in this? Let's see. That might be red. Okay, it'll work. I'm going to grab some burnt sienna and mix it into this light ultramarine blue. This is not the regular ultramarine, it's the light. And all right. And I just it's warm. That's a little bit warmer than I would like for it to be. So I'm actually gonna grab a little bit of this burnt umber right next to it. And I'm gonna mix a little of that in because I want to cool that neutral off. And I added a little bit more ultramarine light to push it more so towards the blue undertone. I'm going to add water here because I do not want this to be too concentrated. All right. So with that angle brush, I can slightly see my lines where I made it, where the tree line comes over the mountain in the back. So I'm just going to start with where that mountain is, and I want to go in here and kind of build me a mountain, right? Um, and I'm just turning my brush in different directions. What I want to do is keep the snowy cap mountain look. So I'm really just kind of doing negative painting, really. Be a little bit more solid towards the bottom. And if it doesn't feel saturated enough, grab you some more paint, go back in, cut into those shadows you just made. It doesn't have to be anything too particular. You will find that with this method, especially with using like an angle brush or a flat brush, somehow it just seems to help you get mountain mountain and rock shapes better for some reason. Don't ask me why that is, but that's kind of how it goes. And that's what I'm gonna do with that. Really straightforward, really simple. Like I said, we're keeping everything really cute, really sketchy. Um, and yeah, maybe I'll brush just a little water across the bottom of that just to soften it some. But that's pretty much going to be that. We're going to put some trees in front of it down to this particular point. We'll eventually end up putting a better water line back there now that we sort of have an idea of where the mountain itself is. Let's move up here to the foreground. I'm going to switch back over to the dagger that I was using. And let's go with, I guess let's make that sand. Let's try to make this a beach. So I'm gonna grab, this set doesn't have a yellow ochre. This color is called Natural Sienna. I think that's the one I'm using. One, two, three. Yeah, that's nickel, Hansa. Yeah, so this is natural sienna. So you could use a yellow ochre, raw sienna. There's quite a few colors. You can even mix like your uh, warmer, not yeah, your warm, not your warmer. I'm sorry, but the cooler yellow. that you have in your set, or use a yellow ochre, mix it with just a little burnt sienna, or take the coolest yellow that you have if you don't have a yellow ochre, and mix it with just a tad bit of your reddish brown that'll help take it more towards that earthy side. So there are several ways to achieve the color. I'm just gonna slightly with it and then lightly brush on. I don't have salt with me, so yeah, I always do that. Don't ask me why. I always kind of like will have a reason for salt, but never actually have it. All right. Now I am gonna grab a little of the burnt sienna, mix it directly into that well where I had that natural sienna, and I'm gonna grab a little bit of the burnt umber and mix it in just to neutralize a little bit. And then I want to go in and kind of put in some. That's actually a wetter than I want it to be, but okay, it'll work. We'll dry it, and then I'll just have to build another layer of color on it. But it's just putting a little bit more life and color into the sanded area. Let's go ahead and put in this tree line, and then from there we will be able to adjust the saturation and our darks and our lights to really bring everything together. So for the trees, I'm switching over to a number 6 round synthetic squirrel. Actually, I think I need to go with a golden taglon brush in all honesty. So let me see if I can find a round taglon that's small. Okay, I'll use this one. I have a number 4. Is that going to be big enough? Possibly. We'll see. This is a number 4 Princeton Aqua Elite round brush. But use whatever you have. And we're gonna make a. I mean, it's a little close to us, so we're not gonna make it too cool, simply because we want to make sure that the mountains stay pushed back. So we'll add a little warmth to this so that it feels more in tune with the natural sienna yellow ochre color that was here. So I'm going to start off with the Hooker's Green that's in this set, which I've been using a lot. It is a beautiful green. Okay. And to that, I want to add, I'm going to go for lemon yellow. I'm going to add in just a little lemon yellow here. And I don't really clean my brushes while I'm mixing. I mean, you can always just clean off the top of your a little bit more of that hunter's green in there. And then I want to mix a dark real quick before I get started. So in this next well, I'm going to start the base with hunter green again. That area is not too big, so we don't need a lot of paint. And I'm going to mix it with ultramarine blue, just so I can get me a nice dark green, dark bluey green here. Put in a little bit more of that. It went a little bit too blue for me. And I'm not worried if I mix a lot. I can use this in other paintings. Okay, let's see here. My yellow green is a little yellow. It's a little mellow yellow. So I'm gonna mix in a little bit more hunters into that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is emulate some trees. I want a nice point on my round, and I'm using that point, and I am going to just kind of tap that across the top of where the tree area or where I want the mass of trees, right? And I'm doing it at different levels. Some are taller than others. Then we'll take care of that little end part in a minute. So now I'm just going to go in, and I'm still using a tapping motion. Some people fill it in all the way smoothly, some people don't. I use a tapping motion up to the marks that I've made simply because I know that tapping motion is building texture. And no, it doesn't have to go in one particular direction. You just want to make sure, you know, you keep your horizon line good. I'll even turn upside down and tap. I'm just kind of moving my brush all around in different directions, different motions. And my paint consistency is somewhere around skim milk, okay? It's not very watery at all. Hope I have enough to finish this. Kind of scrub that out a little bit and then kind of tap the rest of it out as I go. And I'm not really worried if I get green in my water area because why? We have to put shadow in anyway. Now, while it's still damp and wet, I'm going to grab the darker green, did not clean my brush, and I'm going right in and tapping. And you'll notice I will grab the tip of my brush and just pull up what seems to be wispies in there. It's just going to give more definition to your tree area. You're going to make it look like it's more dense. And you definitely want to add that shadow down on the bottom area because if it's wet, it's going to definitely be darker because it's on the bottom and it's wet. And I just have fun. If my throat will let me talk today, I just have fun with it. I'm making shapes inside. It's slowly drying, and the mixture of those colors should help push back the mountain area. And I just play around until I feel like I'm happy with the way it looks. Then I'm gonna grab a little bit of that original green and some little grasses right off of this area right away. And I don't know, maybe there's also like indication of some treetops back there. I don't know. Just one or two here or there, who knows? Maybe there is one like right here. Feeling my whole Bob Ross moment. Like maybe there's a little tree. Maybe he lives right here. Absolutely. And I'm not even really trying to be too, I mean, you don't have to be too precise with anything. Now, if you want to, you can grab your darker color and like throw you a couple of trees right along the line here, but I'm not. Like I said, I'm gonna keep it pretty simple today. That's what happens when you don't plan. And maybe I can put, maybe we'll end up putting land, a little land up under that. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But do I want to put another tree in here anywhere? Because two just looks weird, right? I don't know where to put it. Guess I'll put it right here. Just a little indication, and I'll put another one right beside it to make that look better. Just putting in a little swiggly here and there, just indication of a tree far off back there in a little distance, maybe behind the bush. You know what? Let's put another layer on that. Should I do that? We'll see. We'll hold off on that. Let's go ahead and work on our sand right quick. I said I might put a palm tree there, but maybe not. It'll kind of detract and take from it. Let's see if we can put some of that grassy, bring some of that. Let's see, let's mix that a little bit. See if we can bring some of that green forward. So we can have some little grassy patches over here. Maybe we'll put a couple of grass sprigs. Again, something real simple, something easy that you can do this in order to get yourself going for a day of painting. Let's see here. I'm just going to kind of, I don't have any rhyme or reason for how I'm painting this at the moment. All right, and then in that green, I'm gonna go back and use that sand color we were using earlier. Let's see if we can blend all that and make it make sense. So it looks like we have some little dirt and some grass all mixed in there. Maybe a little burnt umber here. You guys can see I haven't really used this paint a lot. I use it a little bit when we first looked at it. That was about it. Um, Sometimes it's hard for me to decide where I want to put stuff without it looking too like generic or whatever. And I'm gonna take that same color and right along the very bottom of our tree line, I'm gonna put just a little strip so it'll look like a little land is coming from under that tree line just to help tie that color back in. Then let's bring some shadow down. I don't know. I kind of want. Where's our dark? Where's the dark we were using? This is the dark we were using. Let's see. I kind of feel like the shadows in the water not deep enough. So I'm just going to use that gray. And we are going to, let me see, this one is the tallest. And I'm going to keep it horizontal. And it's going to seem weird at first, but it's going to work out, I promise. And let's see. I want it, I want to keep it about the same level the whole way over, like so. All right. Now I just kind of mapped out where I want my shadow at. And I did use like I used the gray that we mixed for the mountains. I'm making sure to use the same colors over and over. So now I'm going to grab a little, I did not clean that brush. I'm going to grab a little of the lighter green that we started with originally. And I'm going to kind of just paint over that gray. This is almost dry brushing, if the truth be told. Now, if you're wondering why I'm doing it this way, I just feel like it's going to add more depth to the shadow. And I'm going to take that green right up to the brown on those trees back there. And you will see as we start to build the layers of the shadow, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. It really will. You will see. And I'm just grabbing a little of that green here and there and mixing it into that shadow. All right, now I'm going to build it a little bit more, and I'm going to add in some of the darker green that we use. Again, without cleaning my brush, I'm going to grab a little bit of the darker green, and then we're going to blend that in as well. And you will start to see the definition take shape with this. I'm actually going to use a little bit more of the darker green than I used of the lighter green here, simply because the shadow would be, it's in shadow. And you can see I left the water line just like a little light sliver. Now you could paint all the way up to that line if you wanted to, and then just you know, use a white gel pen or like white gouache. But it always feels a little bit better when you leave the white of the paper. Now I'm gonna grab the darkest green. I'm gonna flip this upside down and I'm gonna put in the indication of that tree that's there. Uh, and I'm going to just see if I can match where the trees should be. And then this is gonna have little grasses reflecting from here. All right. Let's let's get our little tree stand in here. Our little trees. And it doesn't have to be exact. You just want to kind of give the impression that, hey, that's a reflection of that tree. Even if it doesn't look exactly like, it's going to work though. See? Like so. All right, I'm trying to think. I need to dry it just to see where it is. Feel like I need more darks. Still doesn't seem to be dark enough. I decided against the tree. I don't want to put the tree in the foreground. I'm gonna leave it just like it is. Maybe a few grasses here and there because you guys know I can't resist grasses. I can't really resist birds in the sky. So I'm gonna go with my lightest green here. I'm still using that same Princeton Aqua Elite number six. I'm sorry, number four golden tagline. I really do like the fact that it comes to a really nice point. And I'm just gonna start here with putting in a few grasses right along, and they'll kind of run off every different way. Um, Maybe here, and I know it doesn't seem like much at the moment. I'm using a really light wash to put that in. Maybe I shouldn't even be putting that much of it in. Sometimes I get a little carried away with the grass situation. I do. Um, I like the idea of grass, and I tend to put it in everything, and it might not always be needed in everything, but hey, it's my painting. What do you do? I always tell people if you see me doing something that you don't care for, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't put it in your painting. Yeah, that's kind of how that goes. Don't ask me why I'm creating flowers, but it is what it is. I do weird stuff. I do weird stuff. All right. Let's see. I think I want the bank here a little bit more defined, and I want it to look like it's wet from water. Maybe it's sand there. Do I want a sandy texture? I think I want a sandy texture on some of this. I'm not sure how this is gonna go. I'm gonna take this brush. I'm gonna add a little of that natural sienna color, mix it with the dark I've been using. I'm gonna see if I can create like a sandy texture. Oh, my stomach growling. I am hungry. Wow. Okay. Just a little texture there, and then I want to put, like I said, I'm gonna put that strip. Let me use. All I'm doing is enhancing darks at this point. I'm gonna use. Ooh, a super dark. Let's see if I can keep it super thin. I'm just using the tip of that brush, the very tip of it, to kind of line the bank because I want to give the impression that there is either land or that the sand is a little wet, like that. I think that worked out. Okay. Now let's put some grays in, and we're gonna be done. Um, I'm gonna grab some of the one, of course, using the cool gray that we mixed from the mountain. That's gonna be. Let's see. I'm gonna add in that base shadow. Then I'm gonna add in the darker color into the shadow itself. I'm just glazing that on top of those greens. So I don't lose the greens, but I gain the saturation and the depth that I really need for that shadow. And you can still see the green in it perfectly fine from the glaze. All right, let's see. I want to enhance this line back here where the mountain is. I want to make that a little more defined. So you'll be able to see that, there's definitely a cut of water back there. And maybe in my little grassy area, put a few of those. Not sure why. Don't judge me on my grass. Don't know why I insist on doing that. I just do. All right. Let me see. I'll just use, what color is this? Black. Ooh, that's a beautiful green. When did I mix that? Last night? I have to remember that. That's nice. Ooh, look how dark and beautiful. That's real nice. Hmm. Real dark and greeny. Wait, I want some more of that. I shouldn't be putting this anywhere because now I'm just adding an entirely new color to the strip of it across the bottom, like right where it's with it, just to tie it in a little bit more. All right, let me stop right now. That's how simple and straightforward we're gonna make this. Um, I'm gonna grab some of that ultramarine. I'm gonna mix it again with the burnt umber. I need to get back my cool gray really quick. So yes, I could put my birds in the sky, and then we will call this one done. Get that all mixed in. Okay, great. And we need one right here, and we'll make them small so that they look like they're flying off in the distance. Let's put them in a cluster. And I'll put a fifth one simply because we want to keep our numbers odd. Okay, there. There's that little painting. I'll put a border around it. I'm grabbing my black. Um, this is that zebra click pen. It is a water soluble like marker, really. Bullet point marker. I like doing the black border. I think it helps enhance your illustration. A lot of people don't do this, and you don't have to. It's not mandatory at all. It's just something I like to do. And do I have a pen? Okay, here we go. Sign this bad boy. 325. And then let's take off our tape. And hopefully we can take it off without tearing anything. Of course, knowing my look, I'll tear everything, but hey, we'll see. If we can get this off. Okay. Well, part of it. Yeah, I had it taped down pretty good. Too much tape actually, but what can you do? And this is just like the backing off of one of those old paper pads or something like that that I have it taped down to. That's a good use for old paper. Don't throw the back into your old paper pads away. Hang on to it, and I'll get rid of my little marks where I made to make sure that my tape was taped down even. And we will brush that off. Now let's take a look. It's not half bad. It's a cute, quick little painting. You could elaborate it and elaborate with it. You can take it as far as you want to take it, do as much as you want to do with it. I kind of like it just like that, really straightforward and simple. You guys got to see a couple of different techniques. You got to see blending techniques for the sky and the water. You had got to see how to kind of sketch out a mountain and give it a snow-capped feel. We did a tree line where we mixed in many, well, I'm saying many different colors, but we really just used a light and a dark value of green in order to make it look like we had a really full tree area. We were able to pull off some nice shadows. Foreground, maybe something to be desired because I get I have to put my grass everywhere, of course, but not bad at all. That should pretty much wrap up what we have going on today, my friends. Hopefully you enjoyed what you saw. We use the Roman small paints just so we'll have like a live version of a paint along. You guys can get a pretty general feel of how the paints operate, how they work. They blend beautifully. They have a really decent saturation to them. I do believe there's going to be more of a color shift just based on the paper that this Grabie watercolor calendar is on. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with the way it came out. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you are part of a Patreon, excuse me, the link for Patreon's live tonight will be going up in the next hour or so. So you can look for that. Be sure to join us over in Patreon if you would like to become a member of the Creation Station. We have Monday night lives every week over there. We have one pre-recorded real time tutorial with no time lapse guaranteed that comes out. There's Thrifty Behind the Scenes Reel, which there's an episode of that about to come out as well. I haven't had to really upload any traceables lately because we've been doing a lot of landscapes, but we will be definitely be getting around to the traceables, and we will be working on tonight. We will be finishing up illustration that we started with the what are those things with the average drawer watercolor pencils. So we'll be finishing up this illustration tonight with our little boat in it. So lots of fun, lots of fun, lots of fun, lots of fun. So what else did I want to say to you guys? Oh yeah, and keep your ears to the ground for those watercolor sets that will be hitting the website. I'm actually going to get off of here now and start to do some of the panning. Some of the sets will end up being quarter pan sets. Some of the sets will end up being half pan sets. The trio mixing sets will more than likely be half pan sets. And then the sets that are 5 colors to 8 colors will more than likely be quarter pan sets. But everything will be priced super, super reasonably because you guys know I do not believe in charging you a lot of money for anything. All right, go out, have fun, enjoy the rest of your week. I will see you back here Wednesday for our pre-recorded release. Patreon members, I will see you tonight. And remember, as I tell you guys at the end of every single video, just keep creating, my friends. I artsy love you.